Alright, make sure this is on and good. Alright, took it off. Stick you right there. Alright, so I know it's been a while. Been dealing with a lot of stuff at work, life, things just getting annoying or complicated, how it be. I ended up just kind of so busy in some cases where like you just get a lot of that just mental exhaustion where you're not sure, like you just don't really, I don't want to say like you have no motivation to like do a lot of other things, but sometimes like you just feel so exhausted that you're like, I just want to go home and vibe. And anything I was thinking about doing, I could push it to next week, and then next week gets pushed to next week, and the week after, and the week after, until next thing you know, you're not really doing the things that you're really looking forward to do in whatever off time you have. Because for like my weekend, I was constantly thinking like, on this day off, it's going to be the perfect time for me to go and do this or do that. But ended up not really happening, just because I finally wake up on my day off and be like, well, damn, like now I get to rest today. This is when I'm gonna, maybe I don't wake up as early as I thought I would and do this or do that. Maybe I just like relax today. It's it's finally my day to relax. So I think that was another thing that kind of like messed with me. But yeah, so I don't know. And it's also just that thing of like, I'm such an anxious person and like kind of introverted that it doesn't come so naturally for me to like do this, at least in public. If I'm in my car, on my bike, in the privacy of my own home, or like where I work, where I know it's like private enough, no problem. I'll record videos all day long. But then it's like, in the cases of like being home or being at work, it's like, well, what the hell am I going to record? What's the point of this? Because at least in here, I can record commutes and just like, just me going places, talking random stuff with you guys, or the same thing on my bike, where I think the bike's a little more impressive or appealing just because you get that first person view of like where I'm going, what I'm doing, and then just whatever random crap I'm talking about at the same time. But then when I'm like, stuck in my house or start recording at work, it's like I got to make sure it's something worth watching, right? Because one thing I just constantly need to struggle with, and I literally just need to like stop caring, is just that social anxiety, that fear of being that cringe person that's like recording their meal or talking a whole bunch, or just recording in this store or in that restaurant, and it just, I don't know, I just need to stop being a little bitch about it, basically. But now that I'm hopefully back and doing more stuff, I'll get into that, because I just ended up shelving that while I just focus on like work and my personal life a little more, and just started going to the gym a fair amount. I try to go like at least 2 to 3 times a week, usually after work, just because I've noticed that using it to kind of end my day is just pretty nice for me. That way I'm not worrying about like a time crunch where it's like, okay, if I time going to the gym at this time perfectly, when I'm done is right around the time I would normally start sort of getting ready for work, so I can go home, shower, and then have lunch and then get ready for work, because I'd be afraid of like, oh, what about the one time I take a little longer at the gym, or I lose track of time or something. And so it's like, oh, the solution to that is like just get up earlier, push your time back. But I don't really want to have to get up too much earlier to try and incorporate that, because I'm more of a night owl, I'd say. I like just staying up late. I'll get up, you know, around like 10ish is like my normal time, just because unless I have something to do, like if I have appointments or meetings or whatever, then yeah, sure, I'll wake up, 7, 8, 6 in the morning, whatever time. I used to do it for school. It's perfectly fine. I can do it. It's just like I prefer not to, you know. So when it came to like trying to incorporate the gym, I was like, well, I'll just go like into my regular schedule. I'll just squeeze it in somewhere. And so during the week when I have work, instead of pushing the time back and getting up a little earlier and going to the gym, I decided to just go to the gym, like to end my day, to have it kind of be like that last thing where like I go home, get dressed for the gym, hit the gym, and I can come back, eat dinner, and shower, or shower and then eat dinner, whichever one. Which I think has been going pretty good because I really just enjoy. Yeah, I feel like it's just comfortable like that, and I get to sort of get like a second wind for the rest of my night, where now I get like a little boost of energy, a little boost of like, just like dopamine from like feeling good after going to the gym and feeling like, energetic and just, more limber. So I'm doing that. And now it becomes that thing where this is eating into time, I'm trying to add on so many things. And this thing, coupled with like my social anxiety, made it unfortunately pretty easy for me to just shelf this and be like, which sucks because I really enjoy doing it when I actually am able to do it, because when it comes to the social anxiety, I think one thing that I sort of like gravitated towards or cling towards is this sort of like content creation, of just talking to a screen, because in that case, I don't have to be afraid of the interaction going on. I'm just having a conversation with, I don't want to say imaginary people, but in the moment, you're imaginary, because obviously you're not here with me. You're not going to be able to interact with this until this is all said and done. You're just going to be listening to me, and then maybe, writing comments and trying to talk to me. So it's a little different, right? But it is easier for me because this gets me to just kind of project myself, be a little more confident without too much pressure, because these are videos I'm making. Like, I'm recording them. I'm going to put them out, And then so it was the same thing when I would do streaming. That's why I gravitated towards streaming too, because I like playing video games, and if I could do it for an audience, awesome, right? And it was also less pressure because I'm just on this side of the camera. Everyone else watching was on the other side, and if they wanted to interact, they could, and it was just conversation. There was less pressure because it's just whatever they would want to write, and it helped because I really liked developing this thing where I'm now, just like thinking out loud, right? Where I'm just, especially for streaming, it was the most useful because then I'm just like narrating what I'm doing, and that's kind of one of the main things, because unless you're like talking about funny bits or memories, or just bringing up the random funny things to talk about, like any from your personal life during streaming, you're gonna have just like a lot of dead air where you're just either super focused on the game or just low-key kind of bored because you're just like, I'm playing this but I have nothing to talk about, unfortunately. So one of the easiest ways I always learned to fill that space was just, you know what you're going to do when you're playing a game. You know your plan. But the people watching don't. Like, you might have formulated in your mind that you're going to do this task, do that one, go, grab this weapon or craft this or do this, whatever it is, in whatever order, you know what you're going to do. Because you're in your own head. The audience is not. So you want to think out loud. You want to say, well, I think I want to go grab this weapon next. I think I want to do that. Let's go do this. And it kind of makes it easier because you're not communicating a lot more. You're letting the audience into your thought process, your just thinking, your narrative, right? You're letting them in on it instead of letting them assume what's going to happen or like kind of wonder. And so that's what helped me a lot back in the day. But then, I don't know, we got to see. One of the bright sides, I know I'm driving today, that's why obviously I'm in a vehicle with like this good suction cup, mount thing that I bought, which was very good. But it's finally getting warmer again. Winter, I want to say it's pretty much over. We were supposed to get like, I think, a few more weeks of it because of that damn groundhog, but not in California. It is warm as hell. It is like almost 80 degrees right now. I have to be driving today, otherwise I'd be using my bike. But since it's getting warmer now, it does mean I finally get to more consistently ride my bike. Because when it's colder, I don't like riding when it's super cold. It gets really cold, it gets freezing. So the cold weather usually means I'm not riding as much, especially when the cold weather is introducing the possibility of rain. And I don't like riding in the rain. It's a lot more dangerous. Visibility is so much lower just for me riding and for people to see me because I'm, on the bike. So, it's a Dodge Durango. So I normally try to avoid winter time, and I think not just for me, but for a lot of people that ride a motorcycle, unless they got a super, like adventure bike or off-roading bike and are just that passionate, and it's their only form of transportation. Usually I've noticed that wintertime is the time that the bike kind of gets covered up for, several months while the weather is not too forgiving. So with that, I'm really excited to just keep riding again because I haven't ridden since like before even fall, because I think once it even hit fall, it was already getting pretty cold, especially with it getting dark much earlier. So it was a solid like 4 or 5 months, but like I was not able to consistently ride. I rode my bike a few weeks ago on like the first warm day that kind of happened, and it was nice. It feels so good when you ride it after so long of not riding it. At first I used to be pretty nervous, and I'd be like, oh well, it's been like a few weeks since I've ridden, I'm gonna be so bad at it, I'm gonna have forgotten so much. Like, no, it comes naturally. It's literally like riding a bike. It feels nice, it feels freeing. So we're definitely gonna get more riding in, more like, I don't want to say daily vlogs, but the kind of daily vlogs, however often I make them, where I'm just riding to work or riding somewhere, or driving to work or driving somewhere, and just talking to you guys, talking about random stuff, what I've been doing, what I plan to do, because I have gotten a new microphone. I got the new oh damn, it's dark under this tunnel. I don't think you're supposed to turn left right there, sir. Are you? Actually, it might be. Which looks like an awkward turn. I got the new DJI Mic 3, which is very tiny. It's much lighter. It's like a perfect little square. It's pretty nice. I'm digging it. Are you going to turn around, cop? Yeah, you are. A lot of good improvements over the 2. And personally, I'll probably make a video reviewing it. Just talk a little bit more about, like, why did I turn my freaking blinker on? Just talking about things I like about it, comparisons, all that fun stuff. And then the same thing for my new camera. I now have the Action 6, which is very nice so far. And again, I'll talk more about that probably in another video. Whenever I think about like reviewing stuff, because I've always thought about reviewing stuff, I just know the market is just flooded with review videos and people talking about stuff and how much, the pros and cons, and should you buy this or should you not. And obviously, like, I utilize those. It's the times, like, the things I use to tell me whether or not I'm going to buy something, right? Like whether or not I finally pull the trigger on getting something. So like in terms of how much those videos have helped me, I would like to also be, someone that can help someone with kind of being uncertain and just start reviewing things myself. But I don't like to be the person that like buys it day one and then just like makes a review video, because at the same time it's like, I haven't really had enough time to appreciate this thing or make a good comparison. The day I buy it and maybe spend like 20 minutes messing around, recording videos, tweaking the settings, messing with this, messing with that, and then being like, all right, done with reviews. So normally I like to use things for at least, a couple weeks just to make sure I'm going to even keep it, because there's been some times where I bought something that I was super hyped about and then end up returning it a week later because I'm like, yeah, this is actually like pretty garbage in comparison to like something else I had, So a couple of things I'm interested in doing is the review videos for the camera and the microphone. Talk to you guys a little bit about what I like, comparing them to obviously their previous versions that exist, and just I don't know, just more daily stuff. Because one of the big stressors that I really put on myself unnecessarily was this desire to stand out and be like, oh, well, if I'm going to be, this person making these videos and going places, I got to go places that are like rare, right? That, not a lot of people go to, or just like find these like mom and pop shops, or, these restaurants that not a lot of people mess with or do anything like that. And I put this like extra weight on myself to think that I had to try really hard to just stand out and do more extravagant things, and not just record anything. I've got to record something special. But the more I think about it, the more, at the end of the day, I'm like, if I'm putting that stress on myself, that weight on my shoulders, I'm gonna either like crumble under it and not do anything, or it's just gonna feel too heavy. I'm like, nah, like I don't do this. And basically, like, there isn't even really like a choice of this or that happens. I just do end up feeling crushed under the weight of the expectations that I'm setting up for myself, the like outlandish expectations. So I just need to go anywhere, wherever I'm gonna go, even if it's not a crazy good restaurant or fancy place, or something out of ordinary, some crazy big adventure. Like if I just ride around one day and then decide like, hey, I'm gonna go to frickin' McDonald's or something, come sit with me while I eat this Big Mac and talk about my day, or whatever. I feel like that's just, at the end of the day, that's better than putting out nothing, And so that's what I just need to focus on, is getting something out, as opposed to thinking that every single thing I do needs to be like my magnum opus. Every single thing. What is it? What are you doing, car? Or I need to stop thinking that every single thing I put out needs to be my next best thing, where it just needs to be the next thing, right? So we'll do that. We'll just YOLO it a lot more, because I ended up watching a lot of like creators where they'll admittedly say like, I put hardly any effort into the video creation and like editing and all that stuff, and I literally just make a video. I go somewhere, and the experience I have, or the experience that person has, in most cases, is hardly any different whether they have the camera or not, right? Obviously, there's going to be some instances where like anyone interacting will be like, hey, you can't be recording here, put the camera away. Like, obviously those things where they try to mess with you. But what I need to do is just make it so that my videos are kind of just like, outside of me talking to a camera and talking to people that aren't really here with me, I need to make it so the camera does not affect or have any effect whatsoever on whatever I'm doing in the video. It needs to just be my experience, like you guys just getting this window into my life or whatever I'm doing. Because I was watching a lot of videos where that's kind of what they're doing. They're just going around doing stuff, and the only reason we know about this experience is because of the camera. But at the same time, it's not some big show where they're trying too hard to be different, or to exaggerate it too much. Like, obviously there are other people that do that and are annoying and really exaggerate about what they're doing and making a big deal out of it. But sometimes it's just about existing, getting this window into my life of this sort of raw experience that is just, I don't want to say unfiltered, because obviously there needs to be some filter where I can't just go off on crazy rants about things, right? Like, I just need to exist and let you guys exist with me. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start making more videos, really trying to psych myself into it, motivate myself to just stop being a little bitch about recording places, because it got to a point where I wanted to be so much more discreet. Because with the phone, you're holding the phone with like the big mirrorless camera I have, I'm holding up a giant camera with a huge lens, and that's not discreet, and I want to be discreet. So that's why action cameras feel nice, because they're like this big, a little thick, but that's it. But at the same time, the big issue is I'm still recording. No matter how discreet I can make it. I even thought about pushing it to where I have the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, where I'm just recording off my lenses, but at the same time, those glasses will have the blinking light showing that you're recording. So even though it's pretty discreet, once somebody locks eyes with you, they'll see there's a blinking light. You're wearing camera glasses. And even then, no matter how discreet you are, it reaches a point where you are going to be giving it away that you're recording stuff, that you're making some kind of content, because you will be narrating things, speaking to people that aren't there, and people will notice, especially if you're alone when you're doing this stuff. Because when you're alone, people can be like, damn, why are they talking so much? And then they'll start to listen to what you're saying and be like, oh, they're giving a review about this stuff, they must be recording something. So then they'll start kind of looking more and be like, oh, they'll see your glasses, they'll see this tiny camera on a little tripod, they'll see a larger camera, and it just kind of gives it all away. So it's one of the things where it's I started thinking about, well, how can I make this more discreet? And it's well, maybe I don't need it more discreet, I just need to stop caring so much, right? And that's what I need to do. I just need to let loose, record stuff, and really stop giving a crap. How it continues, how we move forward, recording the randomest things, but that's going to be it for me today. Got to get to work. We have trivia tonight, so I'll see if maybe I record some of the Trip 2 trivia and at least some of the insides, but I doubt it, just because it's big group thing, very loud, very busy. It's kind of a stressful thing, but I will see you guys later. Take care, comment, all that fun stuff, and then we'll see you guys next time. Bye.